I just wanted to rattle off some quick hit questions for you, Rodrik. Let's look past draft day. Let's take a look at Fernando Mendoza. How long before he's able to make an impact on that Raiders team?
Rookie mini camp for the Raiders. After that, he'll be at OTAs. That is when he will make an impact. Again, Fernando Mendoza is going to step in for the goofy personality that we see. This is locked in leader that is going to step in. Anybody that thinks Kirk Cousins, that's his job. This is Fernando's job. He's going to step in. We're going to see a lot of good stuff for Mendoza early on and often from this Raiders team.
So you think he may start early on? Is that what I'm hearing? Or you're just talking about leadership role here?
No, he's starting week one.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I don't think we'll see Kirk Cousins take a meaningful snap this year.
Wow. Wow. Okay. As a fan, because I'm no longer in the industry, I just assumed it'd be some kind of transition, not to throw him into the fray. The Steve McNair approach, maybe not as long as Steve McNair or Patrick. Well, let me ask you this from this perspective. Everybody says that the reason we have the Patrick Mahomes of today is because he sat a year behind Alex Smith. Then you look at Anthony Richards. You look at the poor kid in Minnesota who, I forget his name, out of Michigan. Do you think maybe they should do more of a transition? Let Cousins take the reins? I don't see Cousins as a leader or mentor. He's never struck me as that type of guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, doesn't care for other QBs. I've just never seen them in that role. What are your thoughts as a scout and having been in an actual NFL organization watching quarterbacks like that?
Yeah, it's fun and easy to say, hey, we need to, let him sit, let him do all this stuff. You want your best players to play. Patrick Mahomes today, we forget what he looked like coming out of Texas Tech. There was a reason he slid to where he did, playing in that offense, how different that offense was from what he was going to experience in the NFL. You're talking a completely different mental background, completely different maturity level. There are certain guys that needed that time. Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years. He looked like a different quarterback the first time he stepped on the field for Green Bay than he did his last year at Cal. Anthony Richardson has not taken those steps yet. J.J. McCarthy, he was ready to go from a maturity and leadership standpoint, came from an offense where he was not asked to do a lot in the pass game. That has certainly shown up. Fernando, going from, I believe it was Cal, what he was asked to do in a really short time there in Indiana. He was asked to do a lot really quickly and really didn't bat an eye, really didn't blink. He's going to be ready to go. He's going to give them the best chance to win, which is ultimately, I think, why he's the week one starter.
Well, you know what a secret is? You give Cubans their espresso and they're all over the place. They love their espressos. I'm a Latino. They're like, you got to have the Cuban espresso. It's the best in the world. They love it. All right, David Bailey, how many sacks this year?
11 and a half.
Oh, we get to the half. You really are. Jeremiyah Love, how big an impact? Take all the running backs. Let's say your top 32. Where do you see him? Obviously, it's hard to predict. I'm putting you on the spot. I know it's speculation, but where would you see him at the end of the season? Top 10, etc.
Offensive rookie of the year, third total yardage amount for a running back.
Wow. Okay. Sonny Styles, do you think he's good enough to be defensive rookie of the year? The way he's come out, it looks like he's come out ready to play.
Yeah, defensive rookie of the year, gets Washington back to the playoffs. That's a top 10 defense.
How long before we see Ty Simpson? 2 years, 3 years? You know, it's Stafford's year this year, right?
2 years. It'll be 2 years. I think Stafford will ride off into the sunset, and we'll see Ty Simpson. What is that now? 28, week one.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Dylan Thine, is it Thieneman? I apologize. Thieneman. Okay. So you had some choice words for the young. No, he didn't have choice words, but you did question that he maybe overperformed at the combine. And my impression was he may not be as good as that film versus his actual game film. You talked about how you see him in certain schemes. Is he really? And this was your question, I think, is I'm not sure if I see him as a first round pick. Your thoughts on him going 25?
Yeah, I think that's about where my individual grades are always going to be taken from my experiences. When you start talking that draft process, this is to me a starter level player that his mental is going to make him a little bit better than what his on-field game is, his performance at the combine, his testing numbers. I didn't think quite showed up. I think you get a good player. I used to say the same thing about Harrison Smith. in Minnesota, and he was a really good player for a long time. He always played better than what his traits put on film. And that's why Thieneman ends up going at 25, and I think ends up being just a really solid, stable piece on the back end of that secondary.
Your thoughts on Chris Johnson re-entering the league as a running back? I'm kidding.
You know,
I'm kidding.
he probably still run 4.3. Credit to him.
I just saw Chris Johnson. I think I've seen like 3 NFL players named Chris Johnson since Chris Johnson left. Out of this first round, what's your biggest surprise?
Biggest surprise for me, man, that's a good one. It's got to be Mansour Delane at 6.
I kind of thought you'd key in on that one.
No, I'm gonna go down. I mean, I'm just running through them real quick. It's for me, it's Blake Miller, Clemson tackle going to Detroit where he did. This is a guy you're pairing a right tackle with the right tackle there. You're pairing a guy that I have a lot of athletic questions about him. I think he is more of a back end starter, not a first round player. This is a guy that just creates a lot of questions in Detroit. There's a lot of moving pieces have to happen to make this happen. And Brad Holmes has done a great job. Dan Campbell, Blake Miller is the surprise pick of the first round for me.
Yeah, I guess I can see that there. Now, the fantasy in me is coming out a bit. I know you don't play fantasy, you don't know much, or you don't care to know much about it, and much respect to you. I know what the fans out there want. Kenyon Sadiq, how big an impact will he make with the New York Jets, where all players go to die?
Yeah, I mean, who's your quarterback? That's what it comes down to. If you want to be a successful wideout, tight end, running back, you've got to have a quarterback to throw you the rocks. So his good plays are going to be good. I think they're just going to be too far and few in between with whoever they end up playing quarterback for them.
I agree.
You got Geno Smith with the Jets right now at quarterbacks.
Right now,
I said that earlier in the draft, Joe. Remember, it's like I don't care who the player is, who they drafted. They don't have the quarterback to throw them. Okay, and the best fit that can make the biggest impact from this first round, meaning they hit the team and they hit it with all engines running.
man, got to come back to Sonny Styles for this one. Values with his linebackers, how highly I think of Sonny Styles. I think this is just a home run for them at 7. Adam Peters and Q and that whole scouting staff, Chuck Cook, Roger Terry, Cody Sager, they're going to sleep well tonight, coming out of the first round.
Jordan Tyson, Big Joe there was talking about was injury prone in college. To me, a wide receiver with that type of track history, what do they see in a player like that to overlook all those injuries? To take a receiver at number 8, is he that good on that level, on that scale that they hope they can just outgrow the injuries?
Yeah, the medical team has to be fully behind this. The medical for this player, it seemed to be a little bit of everything, catastrophic perhaps, but a plan to get him right, to have him together. Practice time is not going to be what it was in college. The recovery is going to be much better in the NFL. His good plays are good now. I guess this is a wide receiver 1 that's, not a ton of these in the draft, going 8 overall to Kellen Moore's offense. Again, this is a good fit. This is a good pick. What some people thought was the best wide receiver in this draft, to get a good player going to a good fit.
I got one more question. That freak of a specimen that has never played football, how do you pronounce his name? Bernard. I read up on him because of you, and I'm like, oh my God, I saw the video. I was telling Joe, there was, maybe you remember his name, but a big Adonis, freakish looking kid that the Jaguars drafted, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago as running back. He was built like a rock. Didn't make it as running back, had quite a few years as a fullback, but he reminded me of that. This kid's analytics or data, you said, they're there, but there's no film on him. You're the scout. You know what these teams' needs are. I'm putting the GM's hat on your head right now.
Grow, develop, fit into that defensive line.
And your experience is obviously scouting development. How long does it take? Every player is different, but a player like him, what would be your expectations by year 3? This guy can be a force. By year 2, by year 4, what's your thoughts on that when you see a video from the combine?
Yeah, I'm thinking hopefully I'm getting some snaps out of him in year 3. If we can get him rotational, get him on the field, there's going to be a lot of time spent practice, film room, just learning the intricacies, the nuances of the game. And if we can get something out of him in year 3 and then actually start to have a role for him in year 4. So stable franchise with a good history of development, Philadelphia, where there's going to be a lot of stability around.
Standing. That's all I got, brother. Hey, everybody, this is William Del Pilar, founder of Grumblings Media, and I want to say thank you for watching our content. If you want to support our all-volunteer efforts at Grumblings Media, smash the subscribe button right here. 100% free, and please consume and share our great content. Click either one of these two boxes for more of our work.